And now, I'm going to be telling you all about this thing. All about these three things that I hate. One of which should take almost no explanation of why exactly it is objectively bad. The second, a bit of discussion, bits of talk, explanation. The third will require a lot, though. It will take hours to really tell you how exactly it is deserving of this distinction. And you need to understand exactly why it is so deserving. To do so, you need to have context for why exactly this collection of pixels and polygons is just as deserving of my hate as either of those other two. And to do so, I am going to have to break one of the most sacred rules of my code of conduct. To do so, I will be breaking rule number 2. I will never, ever, ever spoil any plot, event, or content of any piece of media that I love. Now, it might seem strange to you that something seemingly so frivolous is that high of a priority to me. But there are only 3 things on that list. The third one is I will always take responsibility for what I've done, the mistakes I have made, the harm that I've caused. I will accept that I have done these things and resolve to never make those mistakes again or cause that harm again. The reason why, though, that I am telling this story, though, is because if I don't violate my second rule, conduct, I will violate the only one more important than it. I can't stand to do that. I don't want to break that rule. Rule number 1. So I'll break my second rule. I will shatter it to 1 billion pieces, set it on fire, and stomp it into the ground, and scatter its ashes across the cosmos to do this. But I need to. It's important to me. It's important to our world, too. And specifically, it's important to our nation, States of America, at this very moment. So, yeah, I'll have to break that rule to pieces. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be stressful. I'm gonna get through this shit. So, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing I should say. There will be some expletives. There might be a lot of them during this discussion. But I need to do this. I know some people don't like those, would rather avoid them if they can. But I need to let off something. Some of this steam, this frustration. Get through this. So I apologize to you and hope you can deal with that. So, let's get started with those 3 things that I hate. Number 1, fascism. There really shouldn't be any need to explain this, but I guess just for completion's sake. Fascism. I hate it because, it turns people against themselves, against those around them. It turns people against each other by making some of us human beings believe that other human beings are not human beings and thus do not deserve life, rights, or any compassion or empathy. It is a terrible philosophy and a terrible crime against humanity itself. Obviously. Now, The second one, gatekeeping. Well, that one needs a little bit of explanation. It is most common, or at least it's most commonly known, amongst hobbies and fandoms. And basically, it's where somebody who has experience, having been in a fandom or hobby for a while, questions someone who is new to it. Questions their validity. Can also be from someone who's of a group that is, quote, supposed to be, interested in the thing, unquote. Questioning people who are not, quote, supposed to be interested in the thing, quote. And it can basically come out as stuff like, quote, oh, did your boyfriend get you into comics? Or, not really a fan. You only played those games. If you haven't played all of them, you're not really a gamer. You've only seen the new movies, really. You can't call yourself a fan unless you've watched all of them in the original language. Not dubbed or even subbed. You have to know that language to really be a fan. You've only read the most recent ones. You're not really a fan of that comic unless you've read every single one, including the issues throughout before my grandpappy was in diapers. Yeah, that kind of shitty behavior. Keeping people out of things that they would enjoy, they already enjoy, and making it so they don't enjoy them. It's a terrible, awful, shitty thing to do. And that, subjectively, and I think it's even more horrible because of how I grew up. I grew up in a tiny little town where nobody really had any interest in the things I liked. At least those around my age. So if I found anyone that was into a thing I liked, I would become their best friend. They, mine. I would steeple myself to them if I could. And if they were experienced and knowledgeable with the thing, I would get to have all sorts of conversations about it. Favorite things in it. What ifs? What if this went differently or not? What was this? The motivation behind it. Who was this character? Why are they important? Did you like that storyline? Why did you or did not? All these things I could talk with someone who was knowledgeable about it. But if I had found someone that was new to a thing, that just started it out, I would get to have the most amazing experience it is possible to be. I would get to share something that I loved with someone who hadn't experienced it yet. I would get to experience it again through their baby fresh eyes. I would be able to experience it for the first time through their experiencing it for the first time. There's a reason why some of my favorite podcasts are about that. Someone who knows something well. Introducing someone who doesn't know it at all, or barely does. And it is amazing. Whether it's sharing a book series, there are several that have done famous ones, like Harry Potter, for instance, or other large, big name, or not so big name ones. There are many book club style video game podcasts that do similar, where the hosts, at least one of which has not played the game, play through a chunker. And then they get together to discuss all that happened in that chunker. And, what they think of it. It's an amazing thing to actually have conversation with someone who has just saw something for the first time. So that's why gatekeeping is a terrible thing. And now it is the third thing. Suguru Kamoshida. This one is going to be big. So, I'm going to need a moment to prepare.